Hello, this is Roland. Welcome. Today I want to talk about my radio program again. It's on every Sunday morning at 7 o'clock on KMET Radio, AM, on the AM dial in Southern California. Covers the Inland Empire, parts of Los Angeles, all the way over to Palm Desert, probably even Palm Springs, San Bernardino, all of that area. It's a beautiful area. I love Southern California. The good news is you can listen to it anytime. If you're in Southern California, or if you're in New York City, or if you're in London, England, you can listen anytime. Or over in Europe, or in Africa, or South America. Because I archive every program at my website, and you can listen to it there. Now, it's an excellent program because I talk about some very basic things that you need to know to have the reality of the spiritual walk come to pass in your life. See, a lot of people have a pretend religion. Okay. That's based on emotions and fantasy, or it's based on intellect. But I've always said you can't study your way to God. And I've also said you can't find God in your imagination. God doesn't dwell in the imagination. It even says in the Bible, doesn't it, that we're not supposed to make images? See, there's something, the imagination is fraught with danger. Okay? Now that doesn't mean that we can't put it to proper use. We can. Little children have a vivid imagination. It's perfectly natural. And it's a healthy thing, actually, when it doesn't go to excess, of course. But it's designed by God. See, little children are not ready for reality. There's too much. You know what... And most people are not ready for reality. Most people don't want reality. See, I don't mind reality because I see reality in the light of something beautiful, in the light of something good and something true. So this might be a good little discussion here. You see, when I look at something negative, okay, so there's something negative. There's somebody mean. There's somebody that's wicked. Somebody that's a deceiver, a liar, abuser, violent, cruel. There's some cheating going on. There's lying. There's mockery. There's taking advantage. There's exploitation. You see these things. I see them. And I don't like them. But I see them in light of the light of truth. In the light of truth, I see those things, and I see that they're wrong in the light of truth. And so I stay away from them. Okay? So, you see the difference? It's like the example I always give, it's like a little child. At night, she wakes up and there's the scary dark shadows. And she calls her daddy, and her daddy comes to the room. And he sees what those dark, scary shadows and noises are. The wind is blowing and the branches of the trees are moving around and scraping against the house. So he said, come, let's take a look. I'll show you what those are. So she takes Daddy's hand and he leads her over to the window. He says, look, it's those branches. See, they're moving around in the wind and she sees them. But she's not scared. Why? Because Daddy's there. She's holding Daddy's hand. So, something like that, okay? I see negative truths in the light of the greater truth, in the light of truth. And I know that the light of truth is there, just like the little girl knows that Daddy is there. And so, even if something is negative, I don't mind. Another example, maybe this is even better. The little child is watching television, okay? But Daddy's there, or Mommy, okay, is there, watching right beside the child. And then on the TV program, there's some bad people They're doing something bad, and the little girl sees it, and Daddy says, see, those bad people are doing bad things. And they're going to get in trouble because of it, for doing those bad things. And then later on, they get arrested or something. See, bad things happen to them, and Daddy says, see, well, they shouldn't have done those bad things. See? So the little girl, or the little boy, sees the what's not good in the light of good, in the light of principle, in the light of God's light. You see what I mean? Or the light of reason. So you see how that works? So I see things in the light, and the light itself is the truth shining upon things. See, God doesn't speak to us with words usually. Mostly He just shines His light upon things so we can see it for what it is. If something's not so good, then I just shy away from it. If something doesn't sit right with me, then I just don't get involved. See? On the other hand, if something seems right, then I can take a step. I'm always checking with my conscience, always checking with the inner light. And I also see beautiful shining truths. I see the goodness of children. I see the reality of God's laws and His principles and His mercy and His kindness and His goodness. I see all of that. Okay? And I see nature, physics and mathematics, how beautiful they are. And so I see all of those shining truths also in the light, which is nice. So this is very important. It sounds very simple, doesn't it? Very important. But now you see what my radio program is about. I talk about the very basic things because, see, if you understand if you get it, see, there's a certain getting it involved where you say, oh, I see, I get it. You know, the aha moment. There is that. And then after that, your life is never going to be the same again. It's going to be good. Nothing but good from that point on. Okay? If you love the truth. Of course, if you hate the truth, and then you happen to stumble upon the truth and see the truth and then hate it, then you have to flee with that knowledge of that truth. See? Which you resent, and so it becomes a memory that it's agony. So bad people, see, even if bad people stumble on the truth, then it serves a good purpose. See? But, so you see, it's important that you find this inner light from God. That way you can see things as they are. Before you find this inner light and walk in this light, okay, then before that you were like a little ego struggling with everything on your own, so you reacted to everything like an animal. See, you reacted. And before long you couldn't bear seeing anything that was negative because you reacted to it negatively, you see. But if you could learn to stand back and just see things, see good things without getting all excited about them, and see bad things without getting all bummed out over them, you see. Just see things the way they are in the light of reality. Well, then it makes everything so much simpler. Then you can bear reality. Then you don't mind reality. Because the reality is not just seeing what's out there, but it's seeing, also knowing the reality of God's light and God, and knowing that He's there, and knowing that He's good. Okay? If you can see that somebody's doing something wrong or something bad, and you see it in God's light, then you're seeing that it's not so good in the light of what is good. See, it's almost like seeing things from God's perspective. So, if you'd like some help finding this light, then I can help. That's why I have a meditation. So if you'd like some help finding this light, well, it's within. It's always been there. But you've just fallen away from it, lost touch with it. All you need to do is get back in touch with it again, and you'll have it made in the shade. So if you want to get back in touch with this this inner light, and you were in touch with it when you were a little child, okay? You were very close to it when you were a little child, but you fell away from it through reacting, but you couldn't help it. You were only a child, and people were mean and cruel and confusing, and they emotionalized you and teased you, and so you fell away. You became emotional, and you began reacting to things in the world, and then before long you got all caught up and entangled with things in the world, and you drifted farther and farther away from this inner light. So now all you have to do is come back to it, know that it's there, refine it, and know that it's there, and then trust into it, okay? And walk in the light and love the light, okay? And be a friend of the light, a friend of God, okay? The light is from God, which He sends to humankind, to human beings. See, animals react to the environment, but humans have something much better. We have a soul in which we can perceive, okay, and we can know things, okay, intuitively, okay. It's also called intuition. So therefore, the meditation I have is helpful because it teaches you how to get out of thoughts and out of emotions. See, you've gotten lost in thoughts and emotions because you reacted, see. And then you react to your thoughts and emotions, and so it's like a squirrel cage, see, and you get all caught up and entangled in it. All you need to do is learn how to stand back a little bit, get a little mental distance. Stand back, and when you stand back, then you're closer to this heavenly state that Jesus talked about in the Sermon on the Mount.